Pepper and Dylan
on Kiss
91.7.
This is all right.
Pepper and Dylan, yeah, you hear them on the radio. They've been together since about 11 years ago. You must be here because you got nowhere else to go.
No.
Thanks for tuning in to the After Show Show.
After Show, episode number 41. Thank you for joining us. Good day.
Hi. I'm excited for this after show.
All the other ones you weren't?
No, but this is good. So are we going to jump right into it?
We can, absolutely.
Okay, I'm just getting his number right now. This is the fella.
Now, we've never spoken to this guy,
We've
right?
never spoken to this guy. It was his girlfriend sent us a text message yesterday because she entered him in to meet Connor McDavid because he has, and I think it's Gillies would be how you pronounce his name. Anyway, we'll talk to him in a second. He was Mark Twitchell. Do you remember Mark Twitchell? You remember
I don't
that
know
news
much.
story?
I don't know much about the story. You guys really seem to remember.
Robbie, you're quite familiar with this,
Not
right?
quite familiar, but yeah, I do. Yeah.
If only there was a way, huh, Robbie?
Wikipedia.
There we go. He was.
Robbie, is that my water or is that yours?
Yours.
Oh.
To my knowledge, he was the he was a film. He wanted to make a horror movie, and he was recruiting people who wanted to.
Apparently, he was obsessed with the show Dexter.
Right.
He was a screenwriter.
Yeah, and he was kind of just like living out a Dexter fantasy almost.
Right.
Like this guy even went to like Nate. This is what I hear, like Nate television school.
Yeah.
And he was just
But he murdered somebody.
Well,
Murder
I
somebody.
imagine the guy that escaped will know this story better than anyone.
That's probably
Right.
a good point. So we're going to call this who we're talking to, Gillies, I believe, is he escaped from this potential murder.
Yeah,
So this could be. So we're going to spend some time because apparently he's got an amazing story. How are the levels coming in? They good? We good?
I won't know until
Producing
he
this
talks.
properly. Hello. Hi, is it Gillies? We better get that out of the way right away. Gillies?
Yeah, Gilles.
Oh, Gilles.
Yeah.
All right, so in Alberta, we call you Gillies.
Gilles, how are you?
Okay, Gilles.
Good.
Thank you for joining us here. We are told you have a fascinating story
Yes.
to tell.
Yeah. Yes.
Now, first of all, let's talk about who Mark Twitchell is. You probably know this, like Dylan just said before we called you, better than anybody. So so he was fascinated with murder.
He was fascinated with Dexter.
With
Okay.
Dexter.
The show Dexter.
Right.
Yeah, and he thought he could do it just as good as Dexter could do it, I guess. And he was a local filmmaker.
Yeah.
And he did a little short story, a little short movie on murder and kind of like a story like Dexter would do.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually filmed that before anything happened. All this happened, and and then he thought he could do it for real.
So how are you involved in this?
Okay, so I was back in 2008. I was going through a divorce or a separation, I guess, and I was lonely. So I went on a online dating website, and back then it wasn't that popular. But I decided to try it out, and I met a couple people, a couple girls, and it went okay. And then shortly after, I saw this blonde, and her name is Spider Webs on this online dating profile. And so I contacted her, and right away, we started texting back and forth, or not texting, but messaging back and forth. And she was pretty forward. She was like, "Yeah, let's meet. Just go on a date right away." And I didn't know anybody in Edmonton. I was new to Edmonton area as well, so I'm like, "Yeah, why not? Sure, let's do this." And so she. In the next few days, we were still kind of messaging back and forth, and she was.
So did you go on the date at this point already, or this is just
no,
in preparation?
No, still haven't met her yet.
Okay.
So she started giving me directions on how to get to her place. And she would never give me her phone number or anything. And I thought that was really weird.
Mm-hmm. Was she forward? Like, did you think you were going over to the place for something?
I wasn't expecting that, but I was going out to take her to a dinner and a movie.
Okay.
And then, whatever, happened after that.
But in the way you talked with her, you had a feeling that because she was so forward, that there might be, it might get intimate a lot quicker than an average date might.
It could have.
Okay.
It could have.
Okay.
So she started messaging me these directions on how to get to her place, and I'm like, well, what's the address? And she's like, oh, it's better just give the directions. And I said, well, what's your phone number? And she wouldn't give me the phone number because she said something like she had some bad experiences on this on online dating, and she'd give me her phone number if everything
But
went
she was
well.
fine with you coming to her house.
Yeah.
Was there any red flags for you at this moment or no?
For sure. A ton of red flags came up, right?
But girls are hot, right?
And I'm like, well, no, I wasn't even going to go. And then I decided at the last minute, I'm like, well, what the hell? Yeah. So, I went and decided to meet her.
And so you thought, what do I have left to lose except my life?
Yeah, well, you never think of that, right?
Right.
I'm just I'm a small town normally. I grew up in a small town, and I'm just a nice guy, and I thought, I'll go pick her up for dinner and a movie. Sure, right? And
at this point, you still didn't get directions. You still don't have a phone number. You still don't have an address. You just have directions to get to her house.
That's right, yeah.
Okay. So you decided to go through with it.
Yeah, decided to go through with it. Directions actually were pretty bang on. I was able to find the place. One thing she said in the directions was that she lived in the basement suite of this house, and it was easier to go through the back way to get to her door. So she said, I'll just leave the garage door open. You go through the garage door, and once you get to the other side, there's the door to the basement there, and you can just knock away.
Now, remember,
okay.
Hang on here.
Okay.
Because we all know where this is going.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because we know why he's here to tell the story.
Yeah, but I still don't know how it's going to develop.
But the way he's telling the story, if this is happening to you for the first time and you don't know what he's about to walk into, I mean, you can't see, because we're all sitting there going, don't go through the door, dummy. Don't go through the door.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's because we know what we're hearing.
Okay, but I don't know enough of this story to know what would have even been behind the door.
Okay, continue.
Okay. So I get there. I'm running a little late because I told her I'd pick her up at 7, and it was like 7:15 because I had to get ready and stuff. So I'm running a little late. I'm like, oh my God, I better rush through this.
Yeah, you can't text her because you don't have her number.
That's right, yeah. So I see the garage door. I park in front of the door. There's 2 doors, and one of them's open, and I park in front of the open door. And then I get out. I get underneath the garage door, and I look around, and I don't see anything odd or anything. It's just an old garage. It was, with the windows are kind of boarded up. Just an old dusty garage.
Sure.
And I see on the other end there's a door to the other side, just like she said. So I'm hurrying, and I go in to grab that door into the yard. All of a sudden, somebody from behind came and attacked me, and put me in like a bear hug, and then I think punched me in the head, and then started prodding me with this what later I found out to be a stun baton.
Dear God. Okay. How big a guy are you?
I'm not that big. I'm like 5'7", and back then I would have been maybe 140 pounds.
And how old are you now?
I'm 43 now.
Okay, so you were 33 back then.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're getting hit with a stun baton.
Oh my God.
Yes, in the stomach.
Was it one person? Were there more than one? It was just one person.
Where's this
Just
hot
the
girl?
one person, yeah.
There
And
is
I'm
no-
kind of wondering what the hell's going on.
Well, I would imagine.
So I kind of, because he has me this bear hug, right? So I'm kind of shuffle to the right, and there's like 2 shelving units in the middle, and there's I get kind of stuck in between the 2 shelving units, and then I'm like, what is going on? So finally, I turn around, and all of a sudden, I see this man hovering over me, and he's wearing a hoodie and a painted up hockey mask.
Oh, my
Christ. Okay, let's stop here for a second.
All right.
I want to ask a few questions. I want to get some clarity on this. So you walk through that door, and then you get bear hugged from behind, and you're getting hit with the stun gun. I've never been hit with a stun gun before. No. Do you black out of the stun gun? Is it just the shock just knocks you off your feet? Or what happens when you get hit with a stun gun?
Well, that's the thing. I think he thought it would be like a taser, but it wasn't. A stun baton. What happens with that is it doesn't actually hurt you. It kind of felt like one of those electronic bug zappers. You know, when you touch it.
Yeah.
So not too powerful.
Yeah.
It's not that powerful, but what happens over time, it weakens you.
Sure.
But I thought. I'm thinking he thought that it would be like a taser and he would just drop me on the ground, but he never did that.
So it was just remarkably uncomfortable, is what
That's
it was.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Now, is the garage
exactly
door like? Did you go through the man door or the garage door?
the garage door?
So it's still open as you're being attacked and people can see in?
That's right. But it's facing a back alley and it's very kind of secluded area. Like there's hardly anyone there.
7 o'clock. It's dark out, or is it?
It's just getting dark.
Okay.
There's still some light.
And there you are. You're sitting there. There's an attack happening.
Yeah.
And you are on the ground. He's over top of you in a hockey mask.
Right.
What happens next?
Okay.
Can you tell at this point how big he is? Is he like you said?
He's taller than me.
He's taller than
like
you.
I'm probably 6 foot. I guess like 5'11",
Okay.
6 foot. I'm not sure, right?
Okay.
So,
but there's
he's
nothing else
bigger than me.
you can really identify because he's all
No,
covered.
and I
Yeah.
couldn't identify him at all.
Okay.
I
think at this point you knew that the date wasn't going to happen, like that you had been
right
baited.
at that moment when I turned around and saw the guy in the hockey mask, I knew there was no date.
Okay. Or that you were going to be late, one or the other. Okay, all right. So here he is. He's standing over you. What happens next?
Yeah. So I got this like chill down my back because it was horrifying, and I kind of just stopped for a minute, and then I was actually quite calm for the situation. I decided, I'm like, well, I'm in this situation. How am I going to get myself out of it?
Is that what you were thinking, or were you thinking
That's
that you were going to die?
Thinking, yeah.
All right.
So right away, I got kind of a plan put in place that I could maybe try to get out of this, but I needed to initialize that plan somehow. So first of all, I just needed to get out of this bear hug because that was annoying. So I slip out of his grasp and I start running for the big garage door that's open. And he cuts me off, and so that I can't go out that way. And then he continues to prod me with this stun baton on my chest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just looking at him like, hey, it's not hurting me at all. And I finally, because it was getting really annoying, I just grabbed the end of the stun baton and held it away from my body. So he was stunning my hand, but that's about it.
Right.
So then finally he decides, hey, this is not doing anything. So he puts his stun baton away, and then I make a break for the man door. And then again, he cuts me off. And at that point, we're kind of just looking at each other. And I'm trying to think, okay, what can I do next here?
This has got to be the scariest story I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, everyone I tell it to says it could be a movie, like one of those horror movies.
So
right?
all of this is over the course of seconds, minutes?
Oh, minutes. Like, yeah. It's probably going pretty quick. But to me, everything's slowed down.
Sure.
Yeah.
Did he have any other weapons, or was it only this stun baton?
Well, I'm getting to that now.
Okay, good. All right, okay.
So all of a sudden we're looking at each other, and then he pulls out a gun.
Whoa!
Should have started with that.
There's the other weapon.
Yeah.
Yep. He points this gun at me, and I'm like, oh my God, well, what am I going to do now? I can't outrun a bullet.
No.
So
Good thinking.
what's that?
That's good thinking. You couldn't.
Yeah. So I decide I just got to do whatever he asked me to do. So he starts yelling at me. He goes, get down on the ground, put your head down, and put your hands in back of your back and close your eyes.
Oh, my goodness.
And so I just go ahead.
Do you think you're going to die at this moment?
Well, I was thinking that either that or he's going to take me somewhere else and kill me or something.
Now,
Yeah.
oh, this is just so real. So you're thinking, like, what is it like to think that you might be dying? Like, are you scared? Or are you nervous? Or what's the feeling?
I was really calm, but I scared, obviously. But while I was down on the cement floor, that's what flashed before my eyes. Like, a lot of people say that, but it actually happens when you think about to die.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
And I started seeing visions of my family, and I started tearing up.
Are you that scared as you're lying there, or you just
No, not
sober?
scared. I just didn't want my family not knowing how I died,
Right.
or not knowing what happened to me.
So you had accepted at this that you were going to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. So you're lying
So-
on the floor. You got your
On the
face
floor,
down.
he takes out the cookie, covers my eyes with it, and
Did he do a good job? I always wondered, like, could you see out the sides or not?
not see at all.
Okay, good to know.
And
Did he at this point, Jill, did he seem like he knew? Did he seem nervous? Was he composed? Did he seem like he knew what he was doing? Was he following through with a plan, or was he kind of improvising as well?
I think he had a mission, and he was just trying to do what he thought how things were going to go.
Right.
Did
you sense that he was nervous? Did you sense?
No, I didn't
No,
sense.
okay.
We had a hockey
I
mask on.
He was. All I could sense was like evil. Like he was he was coming after me, and he wasn't going to stop till he killed me.
Okay.
So covers my eyes with duct tape. Then I hear him go around to the end of me, to my legs area, and I hear jingling noises. I'm not sure what's going on, but then I decide, I know I had a light flash before my eyes, and all of a sudden I'm like, you know what? I can't do this. So I think, you know what? If I'm going to fight back, I better fight back now. Because once he ties my hands up, I'm dead. Mm-hmm. So I get up, rip the tape off my eyes. I think I mumbled to myself something like, I can't do this. And I turn around, I said, and he looks at me, he's like, what is he doing? And I'm like, I yell at him, I can't go down like this.
Does he still have the gun out?
No, he put the gun away at that point. So he starts yelling at me to get back down on the ground. Well, now I'm not gonna. I'm ready to fight, so I'm not gonna do what he's asking me to do. So that's when he takes the gun back out and points it back at me.
Right.
Well, right now I don't care if I die. Right. So
right. What have you got to lose at this point?
That's right.
Right.
So, but while I was on the floor at his plan, I knew he was going to take the gun out. So I knew exactly what I was going to do. So as soon as he pulled the gun out, I leapt in front of him and I grabbed the end of the gun, pushed it away in case he fired a shot, and then at least the bullet would go into the wall, right? And then I could maybe wrestle him for the gun.
Oh, my goodness.
And so that's exactly what I did, and I pushed it away from my body. But once I grabbed it, I tell people it was the greatest feeling I ever felt in my life because the gun was plastic.
It was fake.
There you go.
Yeah. So I knew it was plastic at this point, so I knew it couldn't hurt me. It could have been a BB gun or something, but, that's not going to kill me. So we start kind of wrestling, like standing up, and we're wrestling, and I'm trying to get this gun away. And I know I can't get the gun away, but I have the amazing adrenaline going, right? So,
no doubt.
and I'm mad. So I decide I want to break this gun. So I start pushing on the gun, and I look over, and I actually see it bending a little bit. It's like, wow. And then we're kind of shuffling around the garage, struggling, and then all of a sudden I look down, and then I see a pair of black metal handcuffs. So I knew he was going to handcuff me. I'm like, holy crap. And then I knew that the gun couldn't hurt me anymore. So I just let go of the gun, and I grabbed the black metal handcuffs. And I put it around my knuckle like I was going to use them as a weapon. And
Hey, are you a fighter?
No, not at all.
He's a survivor.
This is a survivor. So this is just instinct taking over.
Instinct,
yeah, because I understand. I don't know how to fight. I've never fought anybody. I wouldn't know what would happen in this situation. But it sounds like you're doing pretty good.
Yeah, it just takes. You always wonder what you're going to do in certain situations, and now I know, right? And, I fight back for the ones I love.
Yeah. So you've got these handcuffs around your knuckles.
Yeah. So I'm trying to decide where to hit him with these handcuffs, and there's no real good access. So and I'm thinking is, man, I gotta hit his face or his head or the back. But because he's wearing that hockey mask, I can't hit him in the face because I knew that'd be ideal.
Is the garage door still open at this time?
Yeah.
Still open. Yeah.
Why not run?
Yeah, I've been wondering that.
I couldn't. Yeah, I couldn't.
Like he cut you off, right?
Yeah, he kept cutting me off.
And nobody, no neighbors, nothing. No one's
it must
walking
have
around.
been
No
loud.
one's driving. Nothing.
Nothing.
Because you guys must have been making quite the racket in there.
Now, you know what, and I, when you're in that situation, you think, I yell or scream, but I wasn't even. I couldn't. It was just. All I had focused in my head was, stay alive, get away, stay alive.
Now, in this time frame, which since you arrived at and walked into the garage and got bear hugged and tackled, to the moment where you have handcuffs in your hand and you're looking for a place to hit him, what is that? Is that 3 minutes? Is that a minute? Is that 5 minutes?
I kind of lost track of time, but I'd say 5 to 10 minutes, maybe.
Right.
10 minutes.
And where's the duct tape? He duct taped your eyes.
Yeah, I ripped that off and I just threw it on the ground.
Okay, cool. Eyebrows are stuck to it. What do you care at this point? Okay. So you guys are still wrestling. You're trying. Okay, you've got the handcuffs. You start trying to find a place to punch him.
Yeah, and I can't get a good point, a good place to punch him. So then he's mad that I have his handcuffs, though. Man, is he yelling at me? He's telling me to put the handcuffs down. And you know what? I couldn't find. I couldn't use it very well, so you know what? I'm like, I don't need the handcuffs anyway. So because it wasn't part of my initial plan anyway. So
your initial plan was to meet a girl, though, right?
Yeah. So I decide I'm just going to throw the handcuffs in the corner of the garage. In the corner, there's a whole bunch of garbage and stuff there, so I knew it would take them a while to find the handcuffs. Mm-hmm. So I just throw them in the corner. And then at that point, then we grab each other again. We're wrestling around the garage. I finally let go at one point, I think, and then I tried to kick him in the midsection. He just kind of blocked my leg, and almost I was wearing slip-on shoes at the time, and the shoe almost went coming off, but I managed to stay on. And then he tried to then kick me in the midsection, which I blocked as well. And then he tried to headbutt me with the mask on. Ooh. And I remember thinking, like, I was able to see it, and I backed up just in time, but I felt it. It just grazed my forehead, and I felt how hard it was. Ooh. Like, oh my God, if he hits me with that, I'm out. And so,
gosh, you have a lot of thoughts for how quick this is happening. Like,
I know.
Your adrenaline would be making you think clearly.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Right after everything happened, I was able to piece everything together. Like, it just all came back to me, right?
Okay. Yeah, you've had 10 years to reflect, so I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, now I know. Yeah.
Okay. So he's trying to headbutt you. You guys are struggling. The struggle lasts for a little while. Where do we go from here?
Okay. So then I decide, hey, I want to see who this guy is. So I go and grab his mask and I try to push it off his face. But it's on so tight that I can't even get the mask off. So all I see is like his cheek. And so that's when I decide that I think I can. Oh, no, sorry. And then I let go. And then he starts telling me, he goes, since you're not cooperating, this is how it has to be. And he starts punching me in the head, like in the face, side of the head, and my temple. And he give me a punch. Every time I found that every time he punched me, I would back up and get closer to the garage door. So I let him punch me because it wasn't hurting me anyway. It was on the and it just it didn't, nothing hurt right at that point. So he and I back up, punch me again, back up, punch me. I don't know. And finally, when I thought I was close enough to the garage door, I decided, hey, I can get my plan into place now. So I pretend like I'm going to run away, but I'm not running away. So I turn around, put my back to him, and he comes and grabs me. And then I kind of tug, make sure he had a good hold on me. And then all of a sudden, I just slipped out of my jacket and then rolled under the garage door, the open garage door.
Right.
And then you're free.
I'm free.
Oh, my God.
So I get up, and it feels so good to be outside because it's so hot in that garage.
Right.
And I feel
Because that was the worry.
Among other things. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but you could feel that sort of stuff, right? Sure.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you roll
it's
under the garage, and does he chase after you, or?
Yeah. So then well, that's the thing. So I try to run, and all of a sudden, the effects of that stun baton.
You got Jimmy legs. You're rubbery.
Yeah, and I fall right onto the gravel driveway, and I can't even use my legs. So I start crawling down this gravel driveway.
Are you yelling for anyone at this time, or you're still not in that mood?
What's that? Sorry?
Are you calling for anyone? Like, help,
No,
nothing.
No, nothing. Just trying to get away. And it was, like I said, it was in a back alley. There's no one there at all. So I'm crawling down this driveway. All of a sudden, he comes after me. He grabs my legs and starts dragging me back. And because there was a gravel driveway, I found a nice sized rock. So I kind of grabbed this rock and to use it as a weapon, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't know if he saw that I had the rock or just the way he was dragging me, but the way he dragged me, the rock just slipped out of my hands. And then we kind of rolled me back under the garage door.
Jeez.
So now I'm back in the garage door.
What's going through your mind at this part? You think that you're about to be free. You're all of a sudden running away from the guy who you don't know what he's trying to do, but he's got a gun or a plastic gun at the time. So at this point, you're moments away from freedom, and you collapse, and then he starts dragging you back. Like you just think, all right, this is it. This is my fate.
Well, and then I'm like, oh my God, I'm dead now. Like I don't have any more ideas on how to get away.
Yeah, you're tapped. Boy, this is like a horror movie.
It is so crazy.
Okay, so he drags you back into the garage.
Yeah.
And then what?
So I get up, and I notice that it's taking him a little bit to get back in. I'm like, what? Well, what's going on? I must be getting tired or something. Anyway, so he gets back into the garage, and as soon as he came back into the garage, I rolled back underneath the garage door. And this time I knew what was going on with my legs. So somehow I put some kind of power into my legs, just enough till I can jog away. So I was able to jog away, but I'm really not stable. So I turn down this back alley, and all of a sudden I fall onto this sidewalk that's right beside this house. Yeah. And I kind of try to get up. and all of a sudden this jogger comes running by me, and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, and then all of a sudden I look up as I'm getting up, and I see this couple walking their dog. And I'm thinking, oh, thank God, because, they can help me out. So I don't have to run anymore.
Right. You're safe.
They'll help me out.
Yeah.
So I just stand there, and they come closer to me, and then I go to them. I say, I can't really talk at this point. Like, nothing's coming out. So I'm trying to make words out. All I could say was, there's a guy after me. He's trying to mug me, because that's what I thought at the time.
Yeah, you didn't know he was who he was, right?
No, I didn't know. Please help me, I said. And they kind of stop, and they look at me, and they're like bewildered, and they don't know what's going on. And all of a sudden, this guy in a hockey mask comes running up, almost hits them, and runs into them.
What?
And then that scares them even more now, right? But then he's kind of, I don't know what the word. He's stunned too.
He's got to
right?
be spooked
because
that there's more people.
Now there's people there, and he looks like an idiot with his hockey mask on. So he was pretty smart, though, because he decides that he's going to pretend and be my best friend in front of this couple. So he goes, hey, come on, Fred, let's go back. And back to the garage or something.
Yeah.
And then he turns away and starts going back to the garage. And now this couple thinks now I'm with this guy.
Oh, no.
And you're a liar.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
So they start walking away from me. And I'm like, hey, aren't you going to help me out?
Mm-hmm.
And so the guy of the couple starts kind of walking back to maybe help me, but his girlfriend calls him back. So he goes back, and I'm like, hey, listen, just stand right here, and I'm gonna maybe try to get to my truck and just watch me to see if I can get back to my truck. And so the guy comes, starts coming back, but his girlfriend calls him back again, and then at that point I knew that they weren't going to help me. So I kind of had to do everything on my own.
So
I
they
think
end up
I
walking
mumbled
away from you?
Never mind, I'll do it do it myself.
Wow. Wow.
So
That's...
at this point now, I kind of have the advantage because he doesn't know the couple left me. So I have a couple ideas. I can maybe go to a neighbor's house. But I'm thinking, I might just freak people out if I start banging on their door. So, and then I could go onto the front of the house as kind of a street, right? But there wasn't very much traffic on this street, so I'm like, I could try to flag a car down, but if there's no traffic, then it's not going to work. So the best idea I could come up with was, you know what? He's not expecting me to go back to the garage. And I'm going to go back and try to get back into my truck. I think I'm going to be safer in my truck.
Mm-hmm.
So I start moving pretty slowly, and I kind of take a look at where he's at. And I kind of, from the far, I can see his legs under the garage door, and he's pacing back and forth. And so I get to my truck, and I unlock the door. I sit in the seat, and then I know that if I slam the door, he's going to hear, right? So I do it all at the same time. So I start the car, slam the door, lock it, and back the truck up all at the same time. I back out into the back alley, and I kind of paused for a second to see if he'd come running out after me, but he never did. And I just drove away.
Oh my gosh! So I got a billion questions.
Billions of questions. I'm sure you've answered all these before, so we'll go through them.
Did you go straight to the police?
Well, okay, so that was my plan. But as I'm leaving, I drive away. I get off of that adrenaline rush, and I start hurting everywhere.
Yeah.
Hurting so bad I had to pull over and rest a bit. I think I passed out in my truck. I had
How
some
far
water.
away were you? You were sick
drank
at
it,
this
I
point.
poured it on my face, and then I think I passed out in my truck for a bit.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I woke up and I'm like, I got to get home, but I'm in so much pain, but I had to get home. Anyway, on the way home at the police station, and I'm like, I just am no shape to go to the police right now. Like, I just need to get home. And so I get home. I take a look at myself in the mirror. And he had hit me in the eye, or right eye, and it's kind of black and blue or whatever. So I decide I'm gonna. I grabbed up peas and rolled it up and frozen, and I wrapped it up in a towel and I put it on my face, and then I laid down on my bed and I just passed out.
No thought of the hospital?
No, not at this point.
So did you go to the police the next day, or when did the authorities get
So then I decided, and I go to the police. But every day came, and I'm like, I don't want to do this. And I was so happy to be alive that the week after this happened, it was Thanksgiving weekend. So I decided, you know what? I'm so glad to be alive that I'm going to go visit my parents. My parents live in Saskatchewan. They're having Thanksgiving supper, and I decided I'm just going down on a whim, and I'm going to go see my family.
And you got no medical attention?
Nothing. No. And it still hurt. Like, my face is hurting. My ribs were hurting because when I fell down on the gravel driveway, that hurt my ribs.
Mm-hmm.
But no, didn't go. Yeah.
Right. So, and we have to remember, for those who are listening to this, and as we're listening along, we're saying, like, God, man, you should have gone to the police.
Yeah.
You didn't know he was a murderer at this
No,
point.
I didn't know.
Was
You
he a
thought
murderer at this point, though?
had he already murdered somebody? Like,
Because he
give us-
dismembered somebody else. But was that before or after
No,
you?
I was his first victim, and I was able to get away.
So I don't mean to say this, but I've got to say it. Are you living with the guilt of had you gone to the police?
But I talked to the police about it actually afterwards, and what they told me helps me out a lot. That if I would have came forward, yes, he would have probably got a slap on the wrist,
Been charged,
fine,
and released.
Yeah,
he would have been released.
For assault.
He just got assault. But the thing is, he would have still killed. He would have just did it smarter and better the next time. Like,
Right.
His mission was to do this, so nothing was going to stop him, even if I would have came forward. I think.
Yeah. I would agree with that, actually. The way, now that you explain that, I would agree, right? Because all he really did was attack you. He tried to mug you as far as you were concerned.
Well, that's what I thought at first, yeah.
Okay, so...
When did you end up going to the police?
Yeah.
You go to Thanksgiving with your parents.
Yeah.
Obviously, they were probably the people flashing through your head the moments before you thought you were going to die. You go visit them.
Yes. Well, they see this black guy, and so I'm like, I can't hide this, right? I'm going to tell them what happened, and I do tell them what happened, but I tell them I was mugged, right? And which I probably convinced myself I was mugged. And my family's like, you got to go to the police. So when you get back to Edmonton, go to the police. I said, yeah, I'm going to go. So I get back to Edmonton. Yeah, no, I decided not to go.
Did you ever drive back to the house, to the garage after the fact, after you had recovered a bit, just to see if there's any activity?
I never went back.
It's terrifying. It would be, but I would be interested.
Yeah.
So you never went to the police. So at what point did you realize that this was, like, did you hear it on TV or read it and go, oh my God, that's the guy? Like, how did that happen?
So what happened after, about a month later, I get this call from one of my friends one morning, and he's like, because I had told a couple people I work with, I told them the same story. I got mugged and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden I get a call from one of my coworkers, and a friend and coworker, and he tells me, hey, you got to see this article I just read. He said, it sounds so similar to what happened to you the other day, like a month ago. And so you got to read this. So I get on my computer and I look up the article and I start reading. I'm like, oh my God, this is the guy. Because they had to put a picture of the painted up hockey mask, and it's the same hockey mask.
How chilling was that moment reading that?
What's that?
How chilling was that moment reading that?
Oh, it was was chilling. It was like, oh my God. And then I'm reading and it's like, and then it's saying in there that another person had died. And I'm like, oh my God, what? Oh my, it was so horrible. And so at that point, I knew now that I had to come forward to at least help out that other guy that died.
Mm-hmm.
So,
were you in trouble
that's
for
when I
not
went-
coming forward when you finally did? Did they?
Well, no,
did
like
anyone
you-
try to scold you though?
no, they understood completely.
Yeah,
And
like
how
it's-
what I kind of how I people ask me that too, and it's it's sort of similar to like when women get raped and they don't want to come forward and they don't want to
Right.
prosecute their attackers.
Right.
It's the same feeling. Like
Right.
I just wanted to go away. I didn't want to deal with it.
Right.
Were you scared in your life, like every day, to turn a corner, to walk?
Yeah. At that point,
yeah.
after that happened, I was scared. I didn't know if he knew who I was, if he knew where I lived. If maybe he seen me in a mall, maybe he was going to follow me. I was scared.
Did you ever get another? I believe, like from the dating site, Plenty of Fish, right?
Yeah.
Did you ever
Is that
get
it?
Did you ever get another message from him?
According to him, he did send me a message, but I don't remember getting any message because what happened at that time with that site, if you delete your profile off the site, it actually deletes all the messages you've sent to people.
Oh.
Okay.
So when I logged on after I woke up, I logged on because I was going to go to the police. So then I wanted to try to get as much information as I could. So I logged back on to get all the messages, and everything was gone. The profile was gone, all the messages were gone.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't get anything. All I had was the directions she had given me to get to the garage, because I had copied and pasted that, and the pictures of the girl I copied off the website.
You must have been called to testify, correct?
Yes, I was. Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything you can talk? Like, I know there's a lot of legal stuff. Can you talk about that court case, or are you not allowed?
Oh,
to
yeah,
talk?
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Was the couple that you asked for help that didn't help you? Were they witnesses?
Yeah, they were called up.
Did you get to go? You see,
yeah, do you
I
feel
told
bad?
you. Like,
Yeah. What happened was I testified right after me.
Mhm.
And I got to meet them in the back of the courtroom, one of the rooms there.
Yeah.
And you know what? As soon as we saw each other, there was no words. Right away, the girl came up and gave me a big hug. And then finally, we started speaking, and it's like, oh my God, we were so worried for you. We didn't know we were so scared. We thought maybe we were going to get mugged, and I completely understood their what they were thinking.
Do you still have a hard time when you go to bed?
No, not anymore.
No, that doesn't bother you at all.
Times ago,
No.
it doesn't. Oh, that would haunt me forever.
For a long time.
I think it's funny, and I'm just hearing your story.
The victim's family, do they blame you for not coming forward, or are they?
I don't think so. I went to. I testified. I went to other of the testimonies, like when when Twitchell was about, and I got to actually stand back of Brian Altinger, the mother of the victim, and his mom also turned around. She grabbed my hand. She's like, "I'm so with us."
Oh wow,
That's nice.
And I
that's good. That would get rid of whatever guilt you might have, right?
Yeah.
So, oh my goodness! And then so from you start to find out, like, okay, he dismembered somebody. Like,
Yeah. Like piecing everything else together, because to me it was just whatever. There's so much bigger picture of what's going on, what's really going on with the other victim, what the police were doing, and it's like, I guess during after he killed that guy, the Brian Altinger was, and he was smart actually. He went to a friend, unlike I didn't. And so when he went missing, the friend knew where he had gone, and there was nothing heard from him. So that friend came forward to the police for the directions to this place that he last
was he
at.
a smart criminal or not?
No, he wasn't. No.
Just thought he was
He was
better.
just motivated
Yeah,
by
he
that
thought he
murder
was. But
fantasy.
he
Wow. Well, so the moral of the story is watch out who you're dating online.
I guess. He's
what
got
I tell
25
people,
life.
I don't blame the dating site. I just, you got to be careful. Some crazy people out there. Just be careful. You're going to be online dating. Like, just, I tell people, them for a while, meet them in a pub, things like the normal things. You do.
Don't walk through a sketchy garage.
That is
Yeah, don't ever do that.
Wow. Yeah, that's
you're a
And then
fantastic.
there's another part. What happens is the police are confiscate his car and it's his laptop, and if the police investigate his laptop, find this diary, and so on his laptop, and for word has what he went through, what happened. So exactly what happened to me, what happened to Brian Altinger, everything. It's all in this diary.
Did he make you sound kick-ass?
No.
No.
Okay.
Listen, you've told that story a lot. You're a fantastic storyteller.
Oh, thank you.
And it's easy probably because you tell that probably 3 times a month. I'm assuming.
No, I actually haven't told it in a while.
Oh.
But yeah, I do tell it.
We're glad you told it to us. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Amazing,
not a problem.
amazing, and we're all grateful that you're still here. I guess,
And-
right?
Wow.
And it was your girlfriend who wanted you to meet Connor McDavid. Is that why?
Yeah, well, she's amazing. She's an amazing woman, and she loves me very much.
Yeah.
And she knows that my dream was to meet Connor McDavid and get his autograph and stuff. And so she's the one that texted you guys, and she just wanted to maybe make a negative out of a positive and maybe make my dream come true.
Did you, when you're, I have so many questions still, and I know we got to wrap up here, but did you, when you started dating this girl, tell her the story pretty quickly? Did you wait to tell her the story, or were you guys together when this happened?
Normally, I don't bring the story up right away because I might freak people out. So, but she was pretty smart, and she had done some research on me already, and she already knew what was going on.
Okay,
wow.
so she knew the story.
Because I'm all over the internet, right?
Right, of course. Well, that's amazing. Thank you very much for taking the time. We really, really appreciate it. That was
you're very welcome.
it was a good time investment. Thank you. Okay. And sorry for calling you Gillies. That's the Alberta.
that's
okay.
fine.
All right. Thanks, Jill.
All right.
Okay. I mean,
Wow.
what do you do with that, right?
How can you not?
Yeah.
Like, how do you go about your day to day? I couldn't. I wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't be able to walk at dark.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to walk. Like, you know how I'm scared of walking up my stairs sometimes?
Yep.
Like, I couldn't be alone in
However,
the house.
he's got more credibility because he's actually been through it. So you don't know how you would react until you've gone through it. The
Oh,
adrenaline
my
thing is the thing
God.
that interests me, how it overrides everything for a little while. And then all of a sudden he just collapses. I don't know if I would have gone to the police, I think, immediately.
I would have had to. I
But
think.
I understand what the police said to him, and what helps him sleep at night is that we would have just charged him, and he would have had a date in court, and he would have been set free right away.
Yeah,
like
but-
that is what would have happened.
Yeah.
So.
You got to think of it from his side too, though. Like, I know the natural response is go to the police, but he was literally just happy to be breathing air.
I know. It's
So
amazing.
anything getting in that way, like, oh my God.
Yeah,
I've
well,
never heard that story before.
I know.
I knew nothing about that.
Really fascinating.
And I'll tell you, I mean, I've done that before. Or I've met people off dating sites.
Well,
Right.
you just showed me your phone moments ago. You have
it's
2
eerie.
new Plenty of Fish updates.
Because I do have a Plenty of Fish account. I'm rarely on it, but yeah, I had a notification as soon as he said it. It popped up like, eerily.
Yeah.
But I remember like it's been a long time since I have met somebody off of there.
Oh.
I remember telling Dylan one day, I'm like, dude, I'm going to meet this girl.
Yeah.
It seems kind of sketchy. If you don't hear from me, this is the address.
Yeah.
And so that's what I've done, but that is terrifying.
Well, just to be in that fight. And oh my God, like he was the first, right?
Yeah.
So to be part of that trial and then to listen
Incredible.
as you start to hear it unfold.
But how reassuring for the mother of the victim to grab his hand and say, we're happy. Like, to basically in one way or another say, we forgive you. So
how do we get him, Connor McDavid, jersey or something?
exactly. Right.
We should probably help
Amazing.
if
We
we
should
can.
just be happy to be alive. Okay, good
Wow.
stuff. Thank you for listening to the After Show.
The Pepper and Dylan Show.
On Kiss 91.7. Pepper and Dylan
On Kiss.
91.7.
This is all right.
Pepper and Dylan, yeah, you hear them on the radio. They've been together since about 11 years ago. You must be here because you got nowhere else to go.
No.
Thanks for tuning in to the After Show Show.
Welcome to After show number 42.
I am very intimidated by this podcast today, this After Show.
Because it's going to suck in comparison?
I mean, let's talk for a few minutes, if we can, about last week's After Show and how it reached a lot of people who had never listened to the After Show before.
Yeah, really exciting, actually.
And hopefully it retained some of those people. So hopefully you're new to the After Show and you're giving it a try after we talked to the man who narrowly escaped murder.
Oh, I had to go home immediately after watching that listening to him and watch like the documentaries that are available.
Yes.
What a story.
Okay, so he was, if you didn't listen to the last After Show, I would suggest you stop this one right now and go back to last week's one because it was a 45-minute story of the man who, there was a high-profile murder here in Edmonton, and what was his name? Mark Twitchell was the murderer, convicted of murder, and his first victim escaped, or his potential first victim escaped. And we spoke to that potential first victim.
Right.
Gilles. And, Gilles. And it was just a harrowing tale of how he was trapped and almost killed. I didn't realize until afterwards that he has been on TV shows and documentaries and told this story before.
He's got a book, everything.
We were able to talk. See, I didn't know any of that. We were able to talk to him at great length, and he told the story so well, probably because he's told it so much. But he left in a lot of details that you said you didn't see in these documentaries, right? And then,
no, this was way better than the documentaries as far as his story. Now, the rest of the story kind of gets told better in the documentaries because they focus more on Mark Twitchell, more on the guy who actually ended up being murdered.
right.
And then they also, in the one I was watching, talked to the two people. Remember, he told the story how there were two people, passerbyers, walking that night.
Right.
And they interviewed them.
Right.
And to hear them, whether or not they felt responsible for the person that did die, it was good.
What did they say? Oh, I'd be curious to talk to them, too.
Yeah. They've thought about it ever since. They thought about it all the time. They thought about how if they did things differently, that it could have been different. Like the girl, the guy wanted to help out. The girl in this case, they were out for a walk. It kept pulling him back and saying, "No, we don't want to get drug into something." And she still stands by it. And I can see how, and I can see why. She's saying, we didn't know, like, there's this guy, he got beat up, there was a fight, he's all worried for his life, and nope, not something we want to be part of.
And again, if you're listening to this right now and you didn't listen to last week's podcast, then you're not going to get a lot of context out of what we're talking about right now. And if you did listen to last week's podcast, sorry if we repeat a few things here that were mentioned in that one, but it's well worth it, including this couple. Yeah. And how, I mean, I tried to, when he told the story, put myself in the position of taking your dog for a walk, and then seeing a man crawling, right? He was crawling.
At that time, he could hardly
the function
walk.
of his legs because of the stun.
Yeah.
And asking for help, thinking not to do anything. I just can't see myself, and not to in position. They chose to do what they chose to do, but I can't see myself ever walking somebody in need of help.
The reason I could, and I absolutely could see it, and the reason that I could is because, I mean, I get scared in my own house sometimes. Like, I hear a noise, I'm like, what was that? And I'm by myself, and so, like, if you're out for a walk, something you think's going to be happening is some guy on the ground or in need of your help with something looming around the corner that you don't really know, any shady, I guess, right? Can you help me? Can you guys help me?
It's a peculiar situation, yeah.
Everything in my world, honestly, always goes to worst case. I realized this about myself recently. Like, if my doorbell rings past 7 o'clock at night, I just think, like, okay, there's someone just waiting for me to open the door and murder me. Right. If someone comes and says, I'd like to give you a discount on your gas at your house, I'm like, they just want to get in my house so they can kill me. Like, that instantly, that's where my head goes every time. I always think worst case scenario. So I can understand that if I saw that late at night, 8 o'clock, it's dark, you're out walking your dog, you don't expect to see it, some guy's struggling, there's something looming around the corner. No, you know what? That's fine. We'll help you out from over here. We're gonna go back this way. It was interesting. I can see their point of view, but now they have to live with that.
So
right?
they say in this documentary that there isn't a day that goes by that they don't think about their kind of responsibility.
Yeah, they didn't ask it as point blank as we did with Jill's.
Yeah.
who doesn't have a regret because he didn't come forward for quite some time.
Right.
And it's awesome when you watch the documentary pieced all together because he was so instrumental. Had he not come forward eventually, they wouldn't have found.
How so?
Because they didn't know what was happening. They thought it was a one-off thing. They basically.
What was the timeline again? So they found the body.
It was the next Friday.
They found. So the murder happened, and they discovered the body, and then Gilles said, "Oh my God, I think it
was a while after. So they were searching. Okay. What ended up happening? They were searching. They couldn't find anything. They went to Mark Twitchell,
right?
And he told them this bogus story that didn't really add up about why he had this brand new car that happened to be registered to this person that was missing,
right?
Or the same make. No, it wasn't registered. The same make and model as the person that went missing. And they couldn't really piece it together until they found out that 1 week prior to the exact same thing happened.
Okay.
And as soon as they heard that, they're like, oh, okay, now we know what's up. And they were able to piece it together from there. And then they couldn't find the body for so long, which ultimately...
And the body was stuffed in a sewer?
Parts of it, yeah. And the parts, I believe...
Parts of it? Ooh.
Yeah, it was cut up. And so, but they... Ultimately, Mark Twitchell was the one that told them where the body was.
And wasn't he, as an aside, like we work with a few people that were in the same school? And like he went to Nate as a radio and television student?
Yeah, a lot of people
So
knew
did we
of
work
him.
with people that were in class with him?
I think there's one person out there that was in like the same program, but I think he did more TV and they did more radio.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because the documentary goes and shows him like talking, like he's lying right to the police, going like, I don't know, why would you guys, why would you think that sort of thing? I don't know. I was captivated by that
Where'd you see
story.
this documentary?
Online.
Okay.
I can't remember who did it.
Okay.
Like 48,
but you can find it if you search.
If you just search Gilles or you Mark Twitchell or whatever, it's like a 48-hour investigator. I don't remember.
Well, and Gilles is right. He's 100% right about the police. Had he gone and reported him, the police would have just detained him, arrested him, questioned him, and then sent him on his way for just attempted assault. Right? He wouldn't have been behind bars for long. He would have got a day in court or something.
But something seemed weird with the story. Not necessarily that it didn't happen, but it seemed very odd that a criminal would attack Gilles.
Yeah.
Gilles? I don't know how to say it. Would attack him on a Friday night.
Yeah.
Go through it, and he got away.
Yeah.
And not change a single thing and try it again the very next Friday.
Right.
Same way.
It was the mind of a criminal, the mind of a sociopath.
But acting as a girl, getting someone to show up, doing it in the exact same garage, wearing the same mask.
Yeah. When you have a lot of odd compulsions, then sometimes you want to try and contain them, but you can't. It's part of the entire. I mean, there is a lot of. I don't know if I want to use mental illness, maybe, but I will. There's a lot of mental illness that leads us to make these kind of decisions that are in the minds of criminals. They do suffer from at least mental maladjustments that sometimes they can't control that compulsion.
Sure, but someone who thought that they were like a Dexter, someone who thought they were good at what they were trying to get away with, you think would have changed the plan a little bit after someone got away. You'd be like, ooh.
Yeah.
Someone's going to be on to me real quick.
You fantasize about that plan. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess. It seemed weird that like he was able to pull it off 1 week later.
Yeah.
And then, to be those people walking their dog and to think like, oh my goodness, had we maybe done something would have been different. I also agree with you that had you done something different, you would have actually prevented, you would have got everyone off the scene.
Right.
You would have been charged with your whatever assault.
Yeah.
And then your plan could really happen after that.
Yeah.
So either way.
Just buying time more than anything. I think the most...
But it made him a better criminal. That's the other bad part.
Oh, did it?
Well, yeah, because
he knew how to attack somebody better, how to sneak attack, surprise them.
And not to have to fight the same way. And it's just such a scary sounding story.
And again, if you didn't hear it, you should really, really listen to it. It's the most popular podcast we've ever had, I believe, right?
Yes.
That and the What the Hell Happened To's. I think those are the biggest ones we've ever done. So we appreciate everybody for trying that and checking that out. I think that the most relieving point of that entire conversation for him must have been when he was a witness in court and the mother of the victim, who was ultimately murdered, turned and said that she doesn't blame him.
Mm-hmm. She was just happy that he was still there.
Happy that he was there.
Yeah.
which would just be the ultimate weight lifted off your shoulders to hear that from the victim's family, right?
After watching it, I got scared with everything that existed in my life.
Right.
Like I had a Kijiji ad up just the other night.
Right.
I'm like super freaked out about this still because someone said, "Hey, I'll pay you $400 for something I was asking $650 for," and they said, "I'll pay you $400." I said, "No, that's fine, but I'll settle for $500."
Right.
And they said, "Okay, sounds good. What's your address?"
All right.
So I'm like, "All right," give them my address. I've never heard from them again.
Uh-oh.
So I'm like, what, are they just going to kick down my
Right.
door and grab the code? Are they coming at me in the middle of the night? Did they just forget? Like, now I'm all super paranoid.
Always meet in a public location.
Yeah.
It's funny. Kristen has a similar fear or concern right now. Kristen is my ex-wife. We are separated. She is in her own place right now. And I've been helping her move and helping build furniture and doing all that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And while I'm doing that, I start to realize, like, boy, I'm doing an awful lot and I'm not very handy.
Right.
Right. And I thought, it's a brand new place, so she's got to hang like towel bars. Like, she's got to do everything from scratch. Right.
Right.
And I said, first of all, I'm not very handy. Second of all, it's time for you to kind of spread your wings a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said to her, like, you should probably hire somebody, like a handyman, to just come. They get it done in an hour and a half, and it would take me like 3 days.
Right.
So hire somebody. They'll come in. They'll hang all your pictures. They'll build all your furniture. They mount your headboard. Do everything you need in like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Call a handyman. Look them up online and come to your house.
Sure.
And not realizing, oh my God,
Right.
like how dangerous is that to invite a stranger into your house?
Well, it shouldn't be when you call a handyman.
It shouldn't be, but after you hear that story,
I
right?
know.
If you go on Kijiji or you find somebody on whatever website and say, yeah, I need some help, come into my house. And how fearful, especially for a woman in that situation.
Oh, yeah.
to be.
I guess, for sure.
So then I just have to end up hanging out there anyway.
You might as well be doing it. I always carry a knife with me during those processes.
When you go for a sale?
Yep. I always carry a giant, it's not a hunting knife. It's like a SWAT knife.
Really?
Yeah, one of my police friends gave me a SWAT knife. And so I have it on me at all times when I do a Kijiji sale. But I don't really know why. Because I don't want to stab anyone.
Right.
Like that is on my list of things to do. Yes. That is near the bottom.
Yes.
Even if I'm in a situation where I'm fighting for my life, I think stabbing someone, I would just icky.
You'd feel bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would just like,
messy and gross. Yeah.
I don't like needles. Therefore, I don't really like the whole act of like poking,
puncturing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. So I have one on me. I just don't know why. I'm like, I don't know if I'll ever use this. And especially like if they showed up. They would have like a gun or something. Like, what is my knife going to do?
Right.
Like, I just don't see it being great. Like, I was thinking about that whole conversation with Mark Twitchell, and when he walked into the garage, had he had a knife on him,
right,
would have that made it worse?
Well, it turned out that the gun was fake.
Yeah,
Spoiler
exactly.
alert,
Yeah,
but it turned out that the gun was a toy gun.
But to have a knife on you, like at what point would have you stabbed somebody, and would have he stabbed him?
People will recommend. I don't know if the police also recommend this, but when you do sales online, to meet at a police station.
Yeah, they allow that. Yeah,
they do allow that
in the parking lot of
so
a
it's like
police
a swap
station.
meet in the parking lot of the RCMP detachment.
Well, I mean that's way safer than giving out your address and never hearing back.
Right.
So
that guy.
I know.
So either way, you didn't get money or you didn't get killed. I mean,
well,
it's a win and a lose, isn't it?
I suppose.